Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the 5 steps to financial success for medical students. This is also applicable to pre-meds as well, and I'm sure people in residency. So let's get started. As a medical student, most of the time we're not making any money. We are having to spend on our living expenses, having to spend on school tuition, having to take loans, and oftentimes it feels like the debt just keeps piling on and on and on. So today I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I've been trying to do, some of the steps and actions I've been trying to take every day in order to make sure that my financial well-being is going to turn out okay someday. And once again, this is just something from my direct experience, my personal experience. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a personal finance guru. I'm a poor med student trying to figure things out. So here we go. I'm going to share with you the 5 things that I try to do on a daily basis in order to make things better for myself. I think it's important to remember that financial well-being also plays a role in burnout for physicians. So that's why we want to try and get educated before we reach that phase where we're starting to feel a burnout related to our personal finances. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to track my spending. I like to know where my money is going. Am I overspending on eating out too much? Am I overspending on subscriptions? And the way that I do this is 2 things. One, I have a daily spending tracker. So I use an app called Spending, which I will link below, and I have it on my phone. So every time I purchase something, I go buy a coffee drink, I go to the cafeteria, I buy gas, I will automatically put it into my phone so it automatically tracks what I'm spending, and at the end of the month I can see where all of my money is going. I make sure to do it automatically. The moment I buy something, I put it into my phone tracker, and that way I can later export it at the end of the month into my computer and have all of those tracking saved, so I can see where my money's going. Maybe I should reduce my subscriptions, maybe I should be eating out less and spending more on groceries. So it's great for me to be able to see the big picture at the end of the month. And the second thing I do is, in terms of my budgeting, I like to create an entire year worth of a budget that I like to put in Excel, and I'll share my template with you all if you want to check it out. But this way I have somewhat of a rough idea how much I want to spend every single month for the school year, and that way I have an idea of how much I need to take out in loans. Do I need to take out as much or less or more depending on the situation? So I have generally a good idea of how much money I'm going to have to spend, whether I am overspending, and whether I should be reducing some of those things. So that's tip number 1. Now, the second tip is down to really educating ourselves. I don't know about you, but growing up, my parents didn't know anything about personal finance. I wasn't taught about personal finance in school, not even a little bit. So one of the things that I've been using is called Zogo. It's a great gamified app that teaches you about the basics of personal finance. So you go through the app, you go through some modules, you learn about basic things like credit cards and saving. But if you are a little bit more advanced, then you can learn about investing, you can learn about real estate, house buying, and all of those things that you would need to know in the future someday. So it's great to get a head start and start learning today. And the great thing about Zogo is that it is gamified, but while you are learning, you are at the same time able to earn gift cards. So for every module that you get through, you earn a certain amount of points, and then after a certain amount of points you get a gift card to whichever store you want to. I tend to stick to Amazon, but you can go for eBay or Starbucks. So it's great because on one hand you're learning about personal finance and you're being incentivized by getting a gift card on the other hand. And it's super informative. It's not complex. It's all broken down so that anybody, a beginner or a medical student like myself, can figure things out through this app. So check out the Zogo app. Once you've checked out the Zogo app and you kind of have a hold on the basics of personal finance, then I recommend something a little bit more catered to pre-med students, medical students, and medical professionals, and that is the White Coat Investor. The White Coat Investor focuses on personal finance from the perspective of a medical professional. So he has a blog as well as a podcast and a YouTube channel and a book. And the first place I recommend you start is, if you're a pre-med or a med student, is check out his White Coat Investor book for medical students. It really kind of hits the basics from when you are in medical school or dental school, and what you can do to set yourself up for success, thinking about how you should be handling loans, thinking about scholarships, thinking about real estate, housing, and all of those things that you might not necessarily have the money to think about right now, but you want to educate yourself on so that you don't make a mistake later on. So after we've learned a little bit through the Zogo app, through the White Coat Investor, we have been tracking our spending. One of the things that we can start focusing on is maybe saving some money or investing. Now, I have always felt overwhelmed by the concept of investing. It just felt very nebulous to me. So I recently discovered this app called Acorns, which helps me learn a little bit more about investing and get started as someone who's not really making that much money. So I recommend checking out Acorns. They do this really cool thing where every day you spend, right? Let's say you go and you buy a coffee, and that coffee might be $2.80. What they will do is they will round up to the next dollar. So they will round up to $3, and they will take those 20 cents between the $2.80 and the $3. It would take 20 cents and put it in your investing account and start automatically investing those cents for you. Now, the great thing is I'm not expecting to make millions out of investing a few cents in here and there, but as a medical student, because I'm not making any money, it makes sense for me to take those cents a little bit every day, round them up, and they add up over time. Now, the great thing with this is I'm not being super risky, I'm not losing anything tremendous, but it does show me how the market is working, what investing means, and what it looks like to do it every single day, every single week, or every single month. And it's very automated, so I don't really have to think about it, but at the end of the day, I can really see what investing means, how it's working, and I don't feel overwhelmed by feeling the pressure of having to pick stocks or figure out what stocks are and bonds and all of these things that I just don't have the time for as a medical student who's trying to perfect studying medicine. So if you want to check it out, once again, learn more about investing on your own time, read about it, read about the app, and figure out what is right for you to start learning about investing and what that might look like for you in the future once you start making money in residency and as a physician. And tip number 5 is scholarships. I think that there are so many scholarships out there that we as medical students don't know about, or we think we don't have the time to apply to. But my biggest tip is that there are so many scholarships out there, and as long as you take the time to sit down and apply to 1 or 2 per month and try your best, that at some point you are going to maybe eventually get some form of scholarship, whether it's from your institution, whether it's an external scholarship. My philosophy is that if you literally don't apply to anything ever, then you have no chance of winning anything ever. So what I've been working on is a database for scholarships that are applicable to pre-med students and mostly medical students. So if you want to check that out, I will leave everything that we've talked about today in the description below. You can check out any of the links that we've talked about and check out the scholarship database. I'll be working on updating that constantly. There's probably close to 100 scholarships available there. You can see whether any of them are applicable to you. Start applying, start writing your essays, getting your transcripts, getting some letters of recommendation, and putting yourself out there, because the more you put yourself out there, the more essays you write, the better you're going to get at it, and the more likely you are to win some scholarships. And let me tell you, a scholarship of 1,000 here and 1,000 there and maybe 500 there really does add up to quite a bit, and it can reduce things like your rent, it could reduce your tuition. So I really recommend that you start kind of like thinking about all of these things and trying to take one action per day to either learn, to either start tracking your spending, to start investing, or to even just start applying to a scholarship or two here and there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop them below, and I will see you guys next time.